the pilgrimages and the scriptures, and why the holy days and the calculating of holy days was so essential to the earth, and the keeping, to making sure that the name of the Most High was throughout the whole earth. So hope we understand this is dealing with the Hebrew, breaking down hibernating, Hebrew, crossover to a region beyond, and how for 6 months, all right, during this particular time, just like for 3 months, the first trimester of birth, second trimester, third trimester, then in the spring, we have the new year. Peace. Hope this makes sense. Fall to spring, and so Christians, negus, all of these terms are dealing with the crossings that take place during this particular time after the dwellings and the calculations, and the scores, the strikings, of the tallying, the keeping. We understand the crossing, the score, the fire, these volcanic regions, and the phoenix, and the crossing, and the mythology of the phoenix and the underworld. This was looked as the mouth. The sun would go into the mouth and then be into the underworld until being born here at this 0 degrees here. So this ring here, fire, this mouth. This was the mouth where the sun entered before it died, to be born again and rise. These animals make these preparations for their hibernation for these 6 months of darkness. As you see, the wolf, the Arctic wolf, that gets his coat ready for the winter, and begins. So when we look at the fur trade and these different trading, we got to understand the trade winds, and how the trade winds and these particular times and these crossings and these seasons, the monsoons, during these particular months, when we follow these holy days, and the crossings, the pilgrimages, the 3 pilgrimages. Understand, the first pilgrimage is here for the 7th month, the next pilgrimage, and then the next. So we understand this tripod, this triangle of the crossing of these Hebrews, these ancient Hebrews that kept these laws. We understand Abar to cross, and the crossings of these Christians. This is why we see the 3 wise men and a lot of these tellings around the sun. Now, all of these things are based upon the mathematics and calculations, because these are dealing with functional planning, right? And how our body is related to the earth's body, and how these cycles, daily cycles, have an effect on our psyche, and how these things are used to capitalize for capitalism. But understand, when we look here at hibernation and this particular time period here on this coast of the refugees, the dwelling place, the Shabbat, in the Feast of Tabernacles, understand what takes place in the fall around these regions as you get closer to the Arctic Circle, where you find the wolf and other animals preparing for the winter, changing their coat to a white coat to prepare for the snow. These ancient traditions, when you look at the Coptic and the Ethiopia being this first Christian nation, when we look at the term negus, or Niger, which is in the Greek, a term for Christian, this coronation of these circling pilgrimages, when we understand the different feast days were pilgrimages. And so kings that wanted to rule and calculate their reign upon the earth, they had to make these pilgrimages and make these crossings. So when we look at keeping the score, keeping the tally of your reign on the books of Libros during this time of the bookings, after the coronation begins in the fall, during this time of Virgo, then September, now the tally, and now the crossing begins from the Goat Mountain across the cap of the coronation of the